Week 5 is in the books. A huge divisional win for the Colts this past Sunday. We're going to talk about that. Our Titans friends last week had a lot to say about what they thought was going to happen. And boy, were we all in surprise for what actually happened, to include the Jonathan Taylor news. Lots to talk about. But before all that, Sammy, start me up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. And Bill Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. That's right. Please bring up our sponsor. Let's get that out the way. Absolutely. There we go. DraftKings it is. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use DraftKings code 6sports to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL bet. Again, that's DraftKings. We love what they're doing for us. Sammy, go ahead and bring that other guy in. It's only one guy tonight, and there he is, the infamous
guy,
Big P. What's going on, big dog?
What's happening, brother?
It's another Anvil show, so let's go ahead and hit it. That is the official sound. We are in business, as you see below, the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. Follow us on Twitter at Sick Pod Colts. Definitely find us on YouTube. We are trying to get to that monetization number. The Fran had a bit of a wild, wicked turn of events. So we found out the hard way. I think we, they say, fucked around and found out. You can say that, but we'll just leave that there. Big P had to talk me off a ledge, but I'm going to put it to you guys like this. We love what we do. We are growing each and every week with you guys, so we appreciate that. So continue to support. If you follow us on Facebook, all nearly 5,000 of you, go ahead and jump over to the YouTube so that we can start to monetize and grow even stronger and even better. So that is what I'll say about that.
If you don't go to the Colts channel, subscribe, that means you're a Patriots fan. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And yeah, that's not what you...
Because you know how Patriots fans are. They're all about themselves. And Colts Nation is all about family. And we've done nothing but bring everybody in as family. We don't call you guys fans. We don't call you guys followers. We don't call you nothing but family. So, my Colts family, support your other guys. It takes one little button. If you don't even like watching it on YouTube, you don't have to. Just subscribe and support your guys. If you don't, then you're a Patriots fan. Just saying.
What he said. So before we jump into the show, let's walk back through this past tailgate. Tell us how that went. Unfortunately, I did not get to make it, but I heard it was one of the better ones.
Man, it was off the charts, my friend. I wish you was there because you would have just exploded with your energy out there. Hell yeah! But we actually had one of our tailgate sponsors, Home Gating Barbecue Sauce, come up from Tennessee, cook for us using his barbecue sauce. And my God, that man knows how to cook.
I think you just like to eat, though. It doesn't really matter who's cooking, but I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Let me not give you.
Hey, when they cook that damn good, you better give them credit. Trust a fat man. Trust the fat man on this
fat
one.
Man.
Yeah, already.
That sounds like a hashtag. Trust a fat man on this one. I like that.
That would be a good T-shirt.
Yeah, trust a fat man
with my big old head on it. Trust the fat man.
Oh my goodness! All right.
Hey, we could start a movie or a TV series called Clyde and the Fat Man.
All right, that's where we draw the line there. Okay, so here we are, man. So 5 weeks, 5 weeks in the absolute bag, and the season is moving way too fast for me. Slow down, season. It's like watching a child grow, right? We waited a long time to get here. Slow down a little bit. But after 5 weeks, surprisingly, and I think that's the fair term to use, we are tied for the division lead with our next opponent, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who unfortunately beat us in week 1, but we get a chance to avenge that loss this coming week. So we will definitely jump into, that type of stuff probably more Thursday, but let's recap this game. And we have to start with the news that was Saturday afternoon. And that was not only was Jonathan Taylor going to suit up and play, but he was out of the freaking blue re-signed to a 3-year, $42 million extension with $25.6 million guaranteed. Holy hell. Who saw that coming? Especially after Chris Ballard had been so vocal about we're not paying anybody this year, basically based on how we performed last year. So, but like he always is, he is a man of his word and he paid his guy. Right. And so we got,
Thank you.
absolutely, we got to see the return and we knew he was going to be on the snap count. So I think it would be, saying it would be kind of lofty or just kind of like wishful thinking to think he was going to have a big role in his game, end up only playing 5 totes. But his counterpart, Zachary Moss, who knew he would have the game of his career, 23 carries, 156 yards, 165 yards, I'm sorry, a 56-yard TD, 2 TDs on the day, 3
He had like what 30 or 40 in the air, something like
30,
that.
I think 3 receptions for about 30 yards. Dude played lights out.
Lights out.
And he absolutely said, hey, I get it. This is 28's big return, but don't forget about 21. 21, can you do something for me?
He did.
Let's
too,
go,
baby.
Zach Moss. Let's fucking go.
Hey, well, you brought that up. Let me ask you this. Do you ever see JT and Moss being in the backfield together?
Man, in the Shane Steichen offense, hell yes.
Yeah, baby.
Who knows what kind of
That's got me.
craziness.
Yeah, that's got me excited. I would have been more excited if Anthony was back there with the threat of his legs.
And then there's that. I was trying to hold off. I was trying to be on a really, really high.
I know. I'm sorry.
Before we got to a low.
It's been trying to ooze out all fucking week.
That's weird. I don't even like that something's been trying to ooze out all week. That's really strange. Matter of fact, you get another one.
What?
Bullshit?
That's bullshit.
I thought I was getting a double Omaha on that
No,
one.
not double. But that's a weird place to put people and their thoughts. It's trying to ooze out all week. Yeah, matter of fact.
Omaha!
It is sinus infection season.
Yeah,
so.
that's fucking gross. Okay. But so since someone had to mention that. Well, first off, before we even go into Anthony Richardson and his AC joint, let's also talk about the other big time performers, right? Let's talk about your guy, as you said on the last week's show, you thought would have a big day. Joshua Downs, 6 catches for 97 yards with a big 38-yard pass from Anthony Richardson to kind of really get it going. That kid showed that he is a nightmare, coming out of and this is what we talked about on that previous show. We're talking with Titans. I said, look out for these weird formations that Shane will throw at you, lining people up in the backfield that are wide receivers, putting them in motion, coming in big horseshoe loops, all kind of shit. And they got the matchups they wanted with Josh Downs and exploited them all day. And that kid showed he is going to be a player.
Man, did you see the separation he got on every single route?
Every single route, bro.
Holy cow.
Big facts. Big facts.
I mean, that's like Justin or what Minnesota kid? Jefferson. Yeah, the way he can just magically get separation. And I see this in Josh Downs now. I'm like, holy smokes. Yeah. We got us one here, boys.
And to me, it's like the speed interval changes, because off the line, he'll give you a little shoulder shimmy and then like stutter step into something that's like a drag route and then accelerate out the drag route, like as you're trying to like cover him. So he's just kind of like, moseying his way across the middle of the field, then speeds out of that. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, like he's away from me. And I think the
What?
linebackers found out the hard way.
Yeah,
Fucked
I've
around
never,
and found out.
I've never claimed to be an offensive minded guy. Especially being in the trenches all my life, and heavy on defensive side of the ball. But what you was just saying, how he breaks. I mean, when he breaks, he doesn't break into like a post route or anything like that. It's something I have never seen before.
Yeah, it's these new routes.
Maybe, I mean, if you guys are watching and you're listening and you know what the hell I'm talking about, but you've seen it, put some comments in there and straighten my head out, because I'm just perplexed by this kid.
Yeah, it's like it's very untraditional stuff where it's like, I mean, the concept might end up being one of the regular, route tree routes, but it's how you're getting into it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of a lot of chemistry, a lot of timing, because they're not just speed routes anymore. It's like, kind of shimmy shake and show this movement, then reverse out of this, and then you sprint across the field. Like it was some
Half
crazy
step to the right,
shit. Yeah,
reverse the field, all
fact.
kinds of crazy shit. I'll tell you, man, Shane has got this offense fun again.
Yeah, we're humming, bro. Like we're
Yeah.
we're 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 showing that, and that's what's wild. I mean, every now and then we'll have the occasional 3 and out, or I feel like we'll just call like a group of plays that didn't really like coincide with one another. But for the most part, like watching this all season, like we can move the ball whenever we damn near feel like it. You know what I mean? Like if they come out and be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, we need a drive here," like it's like we're getting that drive. You
The
know?
only,
So
the only, I'm not going to say dead offense, but slow offense that I've seen so far is in that Rams game. That just the first
yeah,
first
we
half.
we didn't
Yeah, I
have
mean, it's like we couldn't figure nothing out in that game. But coming out of halftime, everything went back to normal. We moved the ball,
that.
we scored, we tied the score, took it into OT. So, yeah, I tell you what, Colts football is fun again.
It is definitely fun to watch, and again, I'm gonna I'm gonna extend how long. I'm guess I'm gonna extend this podcast until we get to Anthony. So I want to talk about all the other good stuff, but we got to talk about the other side of the ball. Now we talked about the negatives, which I feel like we were all dead on. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins he had the best game of his freaking season this year against us, because there
Yeah.
was tons and tons of fucking open space to run around and find holes. So he did have a monster game. Tanning Hill, though he is Tanning Hill and he hasn't played great, he looked very decent against us because of that shallow coverage we played. Now, I don't want to make excuses, but we had key members out. No Quiddy, no Shaq Leonard. Of course, we already lost Dallas Flowers, so there's a rookie over there, and Jalen Jones and that type of thing. But hey, you play with who you got. But I'll say this: this is one thing I wanted to bring up. Julius Brents has been playing out of his mind. But I'm going to say this though. This is the wild part. If you go back and watch, ever since he's touched the field, he has absolutely made a play on the football nearly every attempt he's had, but he's had some incredible, and I mean incredibly bad luck as far as people making miraculous catches on him. Like if you watch the instant replay, like his hand is usually in a position where the ball should be separated. Like he's grabbing a wrist. He actually has his hand on the actual football, and the other guy has it on there. I remember in the Rams game, he had back-to-back passes where, no kidding, the dude just made an incredible catch. Even with DeAndre Hopkins was fighting him off the whole time. One time he caught the ball, and literally I'm like, I don't know how he caught that, because Brent's had his whole hands in there. So I say that to say, for all that we are giving up in the passing game, like Brent's is those plays are going to start breaking his way. I just hope that he's not having any kind of like, how you kind of get
Scouts.
down on yourself, like,
Yeah.
damn, like, because he's there.
No,
Like, he's
surely
being
not.
crazy.
Surely, when they go back into the film room, on Monday, they coach him up and like, hey man, you was right there. You
You were
did
there,
perfect.
bro.
Your technique was, spot
Right.
on. It was a fluke that he caught it.
Man,
Maybe next time,
yeah.
kick him in the back of the head or something. I don't know.
Because he's had some tough. I mean, when I say
Yeah.
tough breaks, like I've been watching these games, and so they'll show the replay, and I'm like, bro, how the hell did this dude catch this? Like, I mean, one time in the Rams game, like literally, the ball is thrown, and he's pulling down the guy's wrist, and some kind of way the football is locked on a pull down wrist, and he got a hand like this trying to trap it. I'm like, how is that even possible? On a big third down. You know what I mean? So I like that he's in on every play like that, and I just hope that he keeps his confidence up because those are going to start being PBUs.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't, man. Seeing the way he plays and just kind of his demeanor about him, I don't see anything like that rattling this kid.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I
Definitely
really
not.
don't. And if it does, surely the coaches are going to pick up on it,
Yeah.
and coach him out of it. Because
Yeah.
you've hit it on the head. He's where he's supposed to be.
Exactly.
His hands are where they're supposed to be.
Right.
He hits the ball. It just it takes a fluke bounce.
Yeah.
And
long, he's rangy, he's able to recover. Like he should have had a pick. But I think he had a little bit early liftoff, and so he just kind of misjudged it. So he should have had a pick in the end zone on Sunday. But then, I mean, we got to give kudos to the front seven. Stand up defense, 43 yards given up in the running game, and on a huge 4th and 1 that could make or break the game. Starting with Defoe getting Derrick Henry around the ankles and Zaire cleaning it up. That defense was playing football when it came to, hey, today we're taking a stand. Number 22 is not going to have his way with us. And I seen it from the first snap.
Zaire is going to be forever known as the Kingslayer now.
Yeah, bro, that dude was he had another 12 tackles, 69 for the year. The dude is going ape shit. It's only week 5. He has 69 tackles. So somebody made a case. First of all, there's a bunch of, I don't know, ridiculous humans in the world. Somebody said something along the lines of, everybody always get called up in tackles. Like, just because you got a lot of tackles don't make you a good football player. Well, what are they doing? Are they playing tag out there? Are they playing flag football? What the fuck's going on there?
Okay, but if they weren't making the tackles, they would be a bad player.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah,
That's just stupid. Whoever said that, take it back. Don't ever spit it back out into the world. That is just fucking stupid.
It was in one of the Facebook groups, man. I was like, I had to read it twice. I was like, are you kidding me? Like 69 tackles in 5 weeks. Now, mind you, they get a full 17 games now. 18 weeks and full 17 games. Okay. So
I'm sorry. Did you get a chance to go back and look at the highlights? Watch the highlights of that game?
Not in its entirety.
Anybody that's listening to me, do this.
Okay.
Go back, watch the highlights, and focus on the offensive line, especially Will Fries.
Oh, yeah.
He friggin' manhandled Simmons the entire game.
These are facts.
I give Big Will Fries some love right there because he played his ass off. And Simmons is a one-man wrecking crew. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
I mean,
the man, it really is. And you got Altry on the other side. Come on.
Nice. And I mean, and that was one of the things that we talked about on the pod, like how their front seven was really solid. They mentioned that they wasn't too much worried about a running game and all these other things. And shit.
You should have.
Okay. Yeah, like that was, and I mean, who expected Zach to do that? No one, but he did it. So
I think Zach listened to that episode and said, "Okay, I got your run game for you, buddy."
Maybe. And then on top of that, I mean, again, you play with who you play with, but no Raymond. All right, so we didn't have him on the left side. I feel like we had everybody else though. Right? Was he the only starter tackle on the line?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kelly, he kind of seemed not hurt, but distracted a little bit.
He just had twin boys. He probably ain't getting no sleep.
Could be, but and it wasn't the whole game, but a couple times I'm just like, why the hell are you just standing there?
No,
like, you know what I mean? When the camera pans on him, and you're just standing there watching the play, and like, dude, come on.
He's definitely probably asleep on his feet. Twin boys, absolutely. But no, I mean, like, so defense, though we had all of those passing yards given up, and we had Tannehill looking like a solid quarterback for a time, they stepped up and played the way they needed to play when it was time to play that way. So kudos to them. Now, I guess we could finally 20 minutes in talk about number 5 and
The topic we don't want to have.
okay, look, I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room, right?
Hey,
Is
hey,
it
hey, hey!
concerning?
No fat jokes.
Fat jokes. Is
Okay.
it concerning that he has technically been injured in 3 games that he's played in? And I say technically because in week 1 it was the very, very end of the game and he had that funky knee thing, whatever.
Yeah, missed a few plays. That's it.
Yeah, but the concussion,
In Houston, he missed what 3
3 and a half,
quarters.
3/4, and then he missed the following game, and then now the AC joint. Listen, okay, I think me and you we discussed this yesterday briefly when we were on the phone. Um, he's a football player, man, and this is the shitty part that nobody wants to hear. But
Mhm.
remove Peyton Manning and even remove Andrew Luck from this equation. We didn't draft him to be a traditional statue quarterback because if we wanted that, he was not our guy. We should have moved up and got CJ Stroud if we wanted that. I'm not calling CJ Stroud a statue, but CJ Stroud is more of a pocket passer,
The traditional pocket
traditional,
passer.
yeah, and he'll move around to, continue to play, and hey, he might even scramble and get him a couple yards, but he's not an RPO threat in that situation. We drafted a pure athlete that we wanted to be someone that's going to be a game changer, and he's well on his way. But here's what I can't continue to hear: the comparisons between him and Andrew Luck are leaps and bounds in differences.
Leaps.
Nobody at the beginning of Andrew's career, no one was blocking for him. So either he was trying to make a play via scramble, or he was no kidding in a 15 pile car or a 15 car pileup accident. Like that's what it looked like. He was running for his life and getting brutalized, right?
Yep.
And Anthony Richardson, though he's been sacked a few times, is not getting brutalized. He is yet, knock on wood, to take a hit where we're like, holy shit, the offensive line is a problem. Now, they've gotten to him, yes, or he's tried to scramble away and somebody's, clipped his feet or something, yes. But when a guy is making a football play and just has a shitty fall, that's a football injury than, oh my God, we're going to lose our starting quarterback because no one can block. You look at Joe Burrow's first year and a half, he was getting brutalized, right?
Yeah.
We're not in
Yeah.
that situation.
I mean, almost to the point where he could have filed charges against people. That was bad.
He was getting
It was bad.
absolutely brutal. And that's what Andrew Luck went through too. He was getting brutalized.
But Andrew Luck had what 3-4 years of that before
Yeah.
a line
Fact.
started doing a little something.
And I mean, to commend when Anthony came back in week 4 against the Rams, he was sliding. He slid a little bit in this game. He got out of bounds once or twice in the Rams game in this game. He just had an unfortunate fall. Now, when people start talking about he's injury prone and all, this is what also bothers me. Everybody is an absolute, critique specialist when they're watching on TV. And no, I'm not trying to make this about the athlete, you know what I mean, and somebody who's not an athlete. But here's what I'm also saying. There are violent plays in football. There's no way around that.
None.
I mean, you look at some people talk about Tom Brady, this and that. Well, if the same rules would have been in play, Tom Brady would have missed a lot of time. Why? Because to his own admittance, he said, I probably had 20 concussions in my career. But guess who didn't come out of those games? Because during that era, up until I guess you could say the last 3, 4, maybe 5 years of Tom's career, there was nobody calling down like, hey, look at that dude. I think he's, out on his feet. So to say that he wasn't getting hit, like there's a play when he got hit, I think in a Buffalo game, like his rookie season, where that dude literally almost took his head off. He was running and scrambling. You have to find that play, and literally the safety nearly took Tom Brady's head off, and he popped right up like nothing was wrong. I'm sure he was concussed on his feet. So I say that to say, don't compare past quarterbacks to him. Don't talk. There's never been even Lamar Jackson, even Michael Vick, even Jalen Hurts, whoever else you want to, Steve Young. There's never been anybody built like Anthony Richardson, moving like Anthony Richardson, playing like Anthony Richardson. So I say that to say this is something that he's going to have to figure out along with the coaching staff and definitely us as fans, because we can't sit here and if we limit him to, hey, just be a pocket present quarterback, he's not going to be what we want him to be. We
Well,
need him making plays.
what would you? Damn, sorry. What would you say would be an alternative to making him become a pocket passer and stop with the designed run plays? Because I've been on this show before saying I don't like design run plays for quarterbacks.
You want my answer?
That's when because every time I see somebody get hurt, 98% of the time it's on those design plays. This was one of them.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you.
So what would be your answer? Now I know what you're going to say as far as we brought him in to do this, and this. We can't restrict him on that, and I agree. But there's got to be a fix to it to where he's not getting these fluke hits no more and these fluke tackles.
Well, I think we already got that, and that was signing Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss, emerging into what he's becoming. And so it's going to be, hey, Anthony, we're going to tip our hand probably early in the second quarter, but the RPO is really give the ball up. Like, you're not running unless it's 101 on the edge. You've read it. It's schemed up perfectly. You can beat the edge, and you got 10, 15 yards and find a sliding position or get your ass out of bounds. But then the player starts playing timid, though. Not like I'm afraid to get hit, but not being the 100% athlete that you want them to be, because they're getting told, like, get down, get out. Here's what my thoughts to that is, though. I don't want to see Anthony, call me nuts, I don't want to see Anthony Richardson making that type of decision until he's in year 13 and he's 33 years old. Like, he's 21 years old, bro. And
Well,
as long as we're not rupturing kneecaps and tearing ACLs or popping Achilles and shit, like, we drafted you to be a game changer, dog. Like, we gonna have to live with some of this, and I don't know what that looks like. But, bro, we don't. Unfortunately, we don't have Joe Burrow back there. We don't have, what's another solid quarterback that's not really all that agile. We don't. We have
a boy from Chargers.
Oh, Herbert.
Herbert. Yeah.
Like those dudes have, even Mahomes. Mahomes is not a freakish athlete. He's just a video game player. He's just gonna make a silly play, but he doesn't have freakish athletic ability. Like,
not like Anthony, no.
Yeah, Anthony is a freak athlete. Like, you cannot take that away from him. He's 21. Like, so it's like, I get it. You don't want to see him hurt and all that, but let's stop kidding ourselves thinking that what was he coming out of college? 52%, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Is all of a sudden he's gonna become great being a pocket passer. That's not gonna happen. Not like that.
Not overnight. Absolutely not.
No.
Now, I tell you, I've put a lot of thought in this, and earlier today on the show, I said Coach Steichen has brought fun back to Colts football.
Yes, absolutely.
And a lot of it has to do with Anthony Richardson's abilities.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to stifle him, either Coach or Anthony. But what I would like almost try to see, maybe, I don't know, maybe this is just stupid and I ought not to say it, but someone needs to shadow him on those RPOs or those design run plays, like an Ogletree or something out. You know what I'm saying? Somebody fast enough, somebody big enough to take the grunt off of him, and if he sees everything collapsing down, stage right, get out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? And then you got like Ogletree or Granson, taking those shots that he would take since he's out by himself.
But he's outrunning those dudes. Like, I mean, sure, maybe a couple plays look like that, but if he gets
Right.
going,
Now,
he's outrunning those dudes, man.
okay, but in this play where he got hurt, I don't know the Tennessee guy who did it, but he came
Landry.
up from behind.
Well, he
and got him.
He just had a better angle.
He did, but
He wasn't
if
really
you had that shadow in there, he's not hitting that angle. I don't believe.
That's
something to think about. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know if it's viable. I don't even know if it's possible.
No,
I just I want somebody out there protecting this kid when he's running. Damn it!
It's not, man. It's just he's going to have to play football, and I know what that sounds like, but that's why we pay what we pay for Gardner Minshew, and I get it. He's 3-0, and I'm so sick of hearing this shit, bro. Like, no, you don't sit the rookie. No, you don't sit here. Like, there should not be no comparison about. Look, this is the problem that I have, right? And we're almost at time, so I'm gonna make this quick. This is the problem that I have with this every week. For every week that we win and Gardner's the quarterback, okay, the one thing that we have to really be realistic about is that's always going to be more of a team win than a Gardner just came out there and beat you. I hate to say this. Nobody's scheming up Gardner. There's nothing to scheme up. Like, he's a solid backup quarterback. Everybody's scheming up Anthony Richardson, though. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's a way different perspective. So it's to take nothing away from Gardner, but we also have not been consistent winning for the last 4 to 5 years, ever since Andrew retired, and so it feels good to win. And I can honestly see this. We could honestly have Matt Ryan right now, and Matt Ryan come in and won 3 games, and our fan base would be like, "Oh, start Matt Ryan!" Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, knowing what he did all last year.
Love your backup quarterback when you actually have one, because there's a million teams that wish they had this type. Because usually, when your guy goes down, it's oh shit, right? It's like oh shit. Now what do we do? Like, Lord forbid, if
Here
something
comes
happens, if something happens to the marquee guys, like a Pat Mahomes, who's backing him up right now? I have no idea. Something happens to Tua, who's backing him up right now? I have no idea. But I guarantee you, overnight, instantly, those offenses change immediately. Like, immediately, they're like, oh God, like what happened to the Kansas City Chiefs right now? Nothing. They stink. Well, we have designed it where Gardner knows the system, but Gardner understands his limitations. So Gardner, if you're watching the differences between Anthony and Gardner play, they're running the same plays basically, but the release is much faster because Gardner gets it. Like, I'm not going to beat anybody with my feet. He did his they called it the Gardner shimmy, where he ran and spun around. No, he wasn't beating nobody to the edge, but he did enough so he's elusive enough to keep plays alive, but he understands, like, he's not an RPO threat, right? He knows that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's got touch on the football. He's got experience. Like, yeah, he's a solid player.
But the big difference between him and Anthony is, look at the Baltimore game. How many times did that dude come off the corner and just light Gardner up? Because he never felt that presence coming down on him. Now go back and watch Anthony. He feels it. It's just something. He's different.
That's what I'm saying. And so let's not, as fans, let's not make this like this internal controversy. Like, that shit is ridiculous, man. Like, that really
leave that shit for the Cowboys and the Patriots and those jackass people.
Because here's the other thing. This is what we'll do. I promise you, this is what we'll do. So you take Jonathan Taylor. He's listed as RB1 going into Jacksonville. Now, let's say he actually gets RB1 time, RB1 totes. And let's say he's not going to come out the gate averaging what currently Zach Moss is averaging. Immediately, people are like, "Oh, that's why we should have signed JT. We should just keep that." Stop it!
Like, he should have gave that money to Moss.
JT and Zach Moss are not the same. But JT with a healthy Zach Moss makes him even better. So
And
let's not start
I
one
believe
for
it
one
goes
in
to. I
players.
think it goes the same way over to Moss too. A
Oh,
good,
yeah.
healthy JT is going to make him better as well.
Yeah, they had two completely different running styles. You can call the same plays but do them differently. Like Zach Moss is more of a in between the tackle guy, and he showed he has a little burst, right?
Yeah.
Um, but Jonathan Taylor's an in between the tackle guy, power guy that has a lot of burst. So we can call edge plays for him. There's a lot of things you can do. So like we talked about, before joining Sick Podcast, we talked about on this show, like you have to look at how all the elements of the squad come together. And we talked about this last year. And so now you're about to see, unfortunately, 2/3 of what that looks like. So you'll see Zach, you'll see Jonathan, but we won't see Zach, Jonathan, and AR. Because you see Zach, Jonathan, and AR all in the same thing. Imagine with like 12 personnel or something. So you got two tights, two running backs, and him. Jesus Christ, that's just as dangerous as having four wide. Because shit, like I don't really want any one of these dudes running the ball. This is scary shit. You know what I mean? So those
Yep.
are the kind of things that I'm thinking about. But as a fan base, let's continuously commend Gardner for what he's doing and push Gardner. But if Gardner Minshew right now was our like in between quarterback, saying that we don't have Anthony on the roster, like he's just one of those quarterbacks that's just right here, and that's our guy. This fan base would not feel the same way.
No,
So
absolutely not.
we feel the way we feel because we know we have a star in number 5. So I hope
Yeah,
and
just because you see the Patriots fans screaming, "Put Zappy in, put Zappy in," when Mac is doing bad, and then you see Dallas fans saying the same thing
yeah,
about
Cooper
Dak and
Rush.
Rush. You
Yeah,
know, you're just mimicking bad fan bases. Stop it.
yeah. Like
Stop
what
it. Really analyze.
fact.
What's going on, what needs to happen, what did just happen. You
Absolutely.
know, and we're working, man. We're not, you know,
Yeah.
Stephen King's.
And I mean, we just signed Kellen Mond. He's I guess he's gonna come in and be the third stringer. So it'll be like Ellinger. So I guess it'll go Gardner, Ellinger, and Mond. But we technically haven't put Anthony on IR yet either. So who knows? 4 to 6 weeks, maybe longer. Second opinion coming. The whole thing. Sprained AC joint, level 3 sprain is what it is. But I say all that to say, like, yes, we are in good hands with Gardner, but he is not the franchise quarterback. And I think we just have to learn to live with that. And injuries do not cost a quarterback their position. Shouldn't cost anybody their position. Now, unless those injuries are like long steading. So you could take like Saquon Barkley missing about 2 years running. Okay, maybe. Right? Like, damn, we can't wait 2 years. But you missed a week here, you missed a week there, and you're actually playing really well. Anthony Richardson has not gone out of a game, and the Colts have been getting blown the hell out. If there was an opportunity for that, it would have been like the first half of the Rams game. Let's say we were playing shitty, and then he had an injury, and then Gardner comes all the way back, whatever. But we seen Anthony come in after playing like shit in the first half and bring
Yep.
this team all the way back to a tie and had a chance to maybe win it in regulation. I just didn't understand the 3 plays that we called. Like, I don't know. Like Shane maybe got too excited. I was like, he called 3 pass plays right there. That makes no sense. Like we could have, ran, lost some time there. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole other game. But we seen this kid can have a lot of resolve and fight his ass back into the game. So
Absolutely. And we've been clamoring about that since training camp when we actually
that's
got eyes on him. Each and every one of us has said, man, this kid's getting better every day. And
absolutely,
I think it was Acosta said, yeah, he got better from the start of practice to the end of practice.
yeah.
And he's doing the same thing in games.
And you
You
seen
know,
it. You seen his expression. He was not happy that he was injured. Like he was pissed,
yeah,
and he wasn't mad at teammates. I think he was mad at himself. And this is why I said, like, right now we just got to be very supportive because you don't want a kid to get down on himself. Like fuck. Like I mean, he's a realist. He knows what all the chatter is, right? He
hmm
okay. the knee thing in game 1, the concussion. Now this, like, he hears that, right? He knows what that sounds like, and he doesn't want to be someone that is looked at as being injury prone. Like, look at the dude; he's a 6'4", fucking 250 pounds, and like I keep getting hurt. Like, he don't want to hear that shit. So
I'm going to tell you and anybody else that's listening to this, if anybody that watches football says this player or that player is injury prone, or they say he's made of glass, do never listen to them, because they do not know fucking football. I'm sorry, but I've been getting beaten on since he went out Sunday with my phone blown up. Oh, he's glass. He's this. He's that. No, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know football. You don't know what it's like. 2 grown men running 18, 20 miles an hour at each other in a head-on collision. You've never felt that. You've never experienced that.
Yeah, well, facts.
Because if you did, you wouldn't call somebody injury prone. If you did, you wouldn't say they're made out of glass. If you've experienced these things, regardless, middle school, high school, college, you won't say that, because it's a part of the game. These guys, they hit like Mack trucks. When they land, this injury on Anthony, that guy's 225, 245 pounds. Landing on a shoulder.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus Christ. And you're going to say he's made of glass? You're a fucking idiot. Excuse my language, but I'm so tired of hearing people say, oh, he's glass or he's injury prone. Look at the past injury report, blah, blah, blah. No, you're a fucking idiot. And if you hear anybody talking like that, walk away, because you're going to get pissed off like I am.
Well,
because they're idiots and they don't know the game.
Well, fans pay their money, or they watch, their team on TV, and
that's fine. Pay your money, watch the TV, but shut the fuck up, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, I mean, I get it. That's what I'm saying, but it comes from frustration, and I mean, hell, they probably said the same thing about Tua the last couple of years, and look at him this year, right? Like, I guarantee you, the people who called him glass and this and that and the other, like, they ain't saying that loud now. They probably can't wait to start him every Sunday in fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
And get them 40, 50 points because he's airing the ball out. But that's neither here or there. But we're way over time, and we apologize for that.
Way over time.
And
I apologize for my language and my last rant there, but that gets to me, man.
Sammy, don't yell at Pat. This is his fault.
It is. That just gets to me. I mean, let's talk intelligent football. Don't, he's made of glass. That's all you can say. You sound like friggin' Dan Dockich when you say that shit. And he's an absolute fucking idiot. Or Greg Doyle. Fucking both.
Super name dropping.
Good. Piss on him.
What the fuck?
Omaha!
Okay.
I'll gladly wear that Omaha, baby.
And with that, that is the Sick Podcast episode 1 of this week. Tune in Thursday for more. Sammy, take us out of here.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.